All right, y'all, what's going on? It's Combo Breaker 99, back with my final look. All right. So yeah, man, I'm busy again, man. I was just on the move. So I said, let me go ahead and stop what I'm doing. Let's go ahead and talk about this fight, y'all. This is the main event for the WMMA fans. Flyweight champion Valentina Shevchenko taking on, in my book, the strawweight champion, but former strawweight champion Zhang Weili. It's going down tomorrow, y'all. It is going down. We're going to get some questions answered. And as we get closer to this fight and just looking at the face-off and looking at how these two size up, man, the more I just look at like Zhang Weili and just her body language and how she's talking, this is going to be a good fight. This is going to be a good fight. I don't think this is going to be easy for Valentina Shevchenko. Y'all know how I feel about Valentina already, though, when it comes to taking on somebody like Weili. I already kind of give my early pick. But, yeah, just looking at the fight as it gets closer, I think this is going to be a good fight. Just looking at Weili's size, her muscle, and just her overall discipline, I think strength and conditioning wise and her durability, I think she's going to be ready. And every time she talks about that being like water, I see that in her, because every time you look at Weili's performances, she's always doing something different. She's always doing a little bit more than adapting to. Like she always just like overwhelms her opponents and just drowns them, So that could be a situation if she's able to catch Valentina in the right position. But let's look at the former champ first, Zhang Weili. So for Zhang Weili going into this fight, number one, she's going to have to make this an offbeat fight. It's going to have to be an offbeat fight. You can't go in there stepping into the passenger seat of Valentina. You can't let her drive. Don't get into a striking battle with her from the outside, just like I tell every single fighter, unless you got some type of boxing pedigree. It's not going to work. Zhang Weili, she's got to be offbeat in this fight, finding her own rhythm. She's got to be using feints, keeping that right hand up. Keep that right hand up and watch the head kicks and keep her body compact and tight. She's got to take a lot of those body kicks. She's got to take a lot of those body kicks on the elbows, the straight left hand on the guard, take it on the guard a few times, be able to keep the guard high so she can parry a lot of shots. And, that way she can still step in and get off her own calf kicks. That's number one. She's got to set like this offbeat pace, landing calf kicks and keeping a high compact guard. And then when Valentina steps in, behind the jab or the left hand, then she needs to let number two combinations go. She's got to throw 3, 4, 5 punch combinations, because you try to throw one single with Valentina or two, she's going to hit you. She's going to hit you with that one hard right hook or straight left hand, and you're going to reset and try to rethink things. So to me, I think number two, it's got to be combination punching. It's got to be combination punching on the inside where, she's touching the body of Valentina. She's got to land those right hands up top. And, once you throw combinations on Valentina, you gotta go up and down. They just can't be headshots because, Valentina, she will take her head off the line and then she will drop that level. So you got to touch both the head and the body when it comes to fighting Valentina. Next, the fight's got to be in close quarters, man. She's got to be in close quarters in this fight. She's got to be on the inside. She's got to be pushing that wrestling pace against the cage. Don't try to, stay on the outside fighting this type of fight, playing chess. It's got to be a dirty fight. You got to get Valentina down to one knee and start working. Work the ground and pound. If you get takedowns, you're on the inside, you actually have the strength to hold Valentina, maybe lock her with one arm, start landing punches. Start landing punches with the right hand if it's free or the left hand if it's free. All right. For Valentina, I think with Valentina, she's got this division on lock. She's seen everything, been through everything. She's got some of the best, technical striking, in the division. The only scare she's had with the boxers like Alexa Grasso, even Manon, I believe if Manon had been a little bit more volume heavy, she probably could have had more success, but it's still Valentina. It's all Valentina when it comes to basic striking. So to me, I think Valentina Shevchenko has more than enough in her arsenal to get Zhang Weili's respect and fight a safe fight here. She can't get ugly with Zhang Weili. Zhang Weili can get ugly with Valentina, but Valentina, to me, she's got to be pretty and using her chess skills. The jab's got to be on point in this fight. It's got to be working overtime like it was in the Manon and Grasso fight, and she's got to dip with that right hook. She's got to dip with that right hook and land that check right hook whenever Zhang Weili steps in. Don't throw any body kicks in this fight. I think she needs to stick to that switch kick, the calf kicks, just stick to low kicks and stick to her straight left hand and just control the fight from the outside. And as soon as Weili comes in, land them knees, tie clinch her, tie clinch and throw her off and just keep piecing her up until she finds that opening. No spinning attacks. Number 3, no spinning attacks in this fight from Valentina, because Weili will get your back. Weili's improved in the grappling and wrestling. You give up that back one time, that's all Weili needs. Because I think physically Weili might be a little bit stronger than Alexa Grasso, but overall I think that if Zhang Weili gets one moment on that back, she's going to be able to lock it in. I know that Grasso, what I was going to say is what Grasso they did, they studied that move over and over, but I still think that Zhang Weili could repeat that. She could imitate that because she's so fast herself and she's explosive. And if Valentina gave up her back, she would take that thing quick, just like she almost choked out Yan Xiaonan. So yeah, that's there. It's there. So the jiu-jitsu and the submissions, it's going to be sneaky if Zhang Weili knows how to set it up. So Valentina, she's got to stick to a basic technical chess match. Use the right hook and jab. No body kicks as much. Tie clinch only if necessary, and just keep the fight on the outside. No special effects in this fight. No pretty stuff like that. Just keep it technical. Going back to Zhang Weili, though, I think Zhang Weili, man, she's got to set up an uppercut. She's got to set the right hand up in this fight like she did against Amanda Lemos. Use a lot of feints, calf kicks, and so on. But when Valentina steps in behind that straight left hand, throw the right uppercut or throw the overhand right when she steps in. So she's got to be moving. She's got to be moving and lighter on her feet in this fight, like she said, like water. So with that being said, man, I see the first 2 rounds like touch and go. I see them both exchanging calf kicks. I see Valentina maybe touching Weili up in like the first couple rounds. I see Weili taking more chances towards like the end of the second round into the third round of like trying to clinch up. And I see her having some success, maybe getting Valentina down here and there, but I see Valentina reversing, getting Weili on her back. And when Weili gets on her back, she's going to be in trouble. So Valentina's going to just control instead of landing ground and pound and just lay on her. And then eventually when it goes down to round 4 and 5, I could see, Valentina just taking it home as Weili gets tired. So I'm going to go with Valentina. I'm going to go with Valentina Shevchenko by decision in this fight. I really wouldn't be surprised if she caught Weili, but I don't think that Valentina's really packing that type of power unless Weili's like really reckless and gives her the chin like that. But I think her durability is going to really save her in this fight. But I've been wrong before about picking Valentina. So if we really looking at somebody like Alexa Grasso being able to do it, I think that Zhang Weili, she's got the power to roll Valentina if she throws hooks in this fight. And if she gets that back one time from a stupid mistake from Valentina, if Valentina's caught spinning, she could submit her. So that's open. I can see it. I think this fight is going to be good. I think it's going to be like technically respectful from both. And I think it is going to be close at times. I think the strength game might be, I hate to say like dead even, but I'm going to give Valentina the edge when it comes to strength. I am going to give Valentina the strength edge here. But I'm going to go with Valentina by decision, y'all. Not too many times I pick against Valentina anymore. The only time was Manon, but I think she's going to take this one home because this is still her division, and it's going to be and still. So, guys, what do y'all think? Who do y'all got in the comment? Who y'all got in the comment section? Let me know. The Bullet or Magnum? Combo Breaker 99. I'm out. Subscribe. Peace.